so we're really pleased. He'll be performing some of his poems for us over the hour, but also along with a presentation and a chance for question and answer session at the end. So there's plenty of time to have a chat. And also you can have a look at some of his books which are over there, and there'll also be a chance to purchase books and get them signed, I believe, yeah. So a bit about Tolu. Tolu Akinyemi, also known as Tolu Toludo and Lion of Newcastle, is a multi-award winning author in the genre of poetry, short story, children's literature and essays. So I'm going to read out his works now, and there's a lot of them. His works include Dead Lions Don't Roar, poetry, Unravel Your Hidden Gems, essays, Dead Dogs Don't Bark, poetry, Dead Cats Don't Meow, poetry, Never Play Games with the Devil, poetry, Inferno of Silence, short stories, A Beautiful Love, poetry, Black Does Not Equal Inferior, poetry, Never Marry a Writer, poetry, and Everybody Don't Call a Mental, poetry. I wear Self-Confidence Like a Second Skin, that's children's literature, that's the yellow book on the left there, which I'm going to have a look at in a minute. I Am Not a Troublemaker, children's literature. Born in Lockdown, so very present. I mean, your poetry is so present, isn't it? Yeah. Poetry. And that's, I believe, just come out in September, that one. Yeah. And then next year you've got A God in a Human Body, which is going to be coming out January. Yeah, yeah. And finally, You Need More Than Dreams, which again is coming out the year after.
Yeah, coming January 2023. Then also City of Lost Memories.
Right.
Yeah, so City of Lost Memories, August 2022.
Yeah.
Then in March 2023, The Morning Cloud is Empty. So those are also poetry as well.
Wow. So you've been busy during lockdown, haven't you? We all know what you've been doing during lockdown.
Super busy.
And I know we've got a couple of poets in the audience tonight. I'm looking at Brian Keith there, and a couple of them have been busy writing poems in lockdown. Brian, haven't you, as well? You've done quite a few poems in lockdown. So, yes, I'm looking forward to tonight, looking forward to the next hour. So welcome. And I'm handing over to you now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you to the Havering Libraries for inviting me over. It's a great pleasure to be here and to be part of the Havering Literary Festival 2021. So I'm super grateful for the opportunity as well. And good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for your time, for coming along tonight to enjoy a great session of literary conversation and poetry performances and readings tonight. Like you've had an introduction about me, Tolu Toludo, the Lion of Newcastle. And what I do for a living is writing. Writing gives me joy. So tonight I will be talking about, so before I do that, so I also have a publishing imprint, the Roaring Lion Newcastle Limited, and we have one of our authors here tonight as well, Fumi Koka, author of Letter to Lily. So these are some of the books that we published at Roaring Lion Newcastle. These are some of my own titles that we mentioned already. So tonight I will just do a short presentation on cancel culture, the birth of a voiceless generation. So basically, when we talk about cancel culture, I could have also titled this "How do we cancel culture?" So that could have been an apt title for this presentation as well. But the title tonight is Cancel Culture, the birth of a voiceless generation. So basically, for cancel culture in the 21st or in the present day time, it's a form of ostracization in which people, that is every one of us, people, celebrities, public figures, are thrust out of social or professional circles, and because they could have committed an atrocity in times past. So we have a situation whereby people are cancelled for holding an opinion, for expression of their thoughts, or even for any form of misdemeanor. So that is what the whole idea of cancel culture, and it could be through boycotts of their works, or probably, people being deplatformed based on having an opinion or expressing a particular thought, or misalignment of opinion as well. So I could express my views that the mob, so it's also like the mob culture as well, where everyone goes after people for expressing their thoughts, for expressing their opinion. So what we say is that people are now cancelled rather than allow justice to take its full course. And that is the reality of our times. And so basically, it is a way of withdrawing support from people, from brands, from products, from celebrities, because someone has, in the court of public opinion, we assume that someone has stepped out of line. But why have we become irrational people in the 21st century? Why is it like people are not confident to like express their opinion before you express that thought, or before you post something online? You want to take extra care just to be sure that what you are putting out there is not going to offend someone else. So that is the whole idea. And as writers as well, for a writer, and for the poets in the house, for the writers in the house, it's something that writers face as well. Before you write a body of work, before you put out that poem, before you put out that book, you are trying to be sure that whatever it's within that body of work is something that you'll be happy to defend, to stand, no matter, because you might just be writing something, but you don't know the way someone out there would interpret what you have written, or what you have said, or what you have said like 10 years ago, or what you have said 20 years ago. So we see old tweets, old thoughts, old expressions. People are being held to account in the court of public opinion to thoughts that they held in the past, or things that happened in the past. So, and I just articulated a few points to say, why is cancel culture trending? Why is cancel culture, why is it trending? So we have intolerance in this day and age for expressing an opinion. People do not really tolerate another person's opinion or another person's judgment. We are quick to judge. We are quick to throw people under the bus for expressing an opinion, for thinking in a particular way. I also talked about lack of empathy. So the world we live in today, a lot of people are not empathetic towards the other person. We do not really care. We do not really care about other people's feelings, or because if someone puts out something 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I am judging them right away based on what I think should be the standard, which I feel should not be the way. So another reason why cancel culture is trending is because of public perception. We want to sound correct, politically correct. How will we try to pander to public perception. So if someone has said something, we now equate ourselves to some sort of lord, some sort of moral judge who knows what should be right and what should be wrong. So that is one of the reasons why cancel culture is trending in this present day and time. I also talked about alignment with popular culture. So part of the reasons why cancel culture is trending in this day and time is because everyone wants to feel among. We want to jump on the bandwagon. We want to check the algorithm on Twitter, on Instagram, what's trending, and we want to lend our voice. So we see people just following the bandwagon, herd mentality. People do not have the time to like process their own ideas, process their own thoughts. Everyone just wants to flow in a particular direction. Then also another reason why cancel culture is really trending at this time is there is little or no room for contrary opinions. We do not give people the chance to like express themselves. So there was a case of the Nigerian writer Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. She made a comment, and another Nigerian writer was found that comment offensive, and it was a case of I want Chimamanda deplatformed. I want her deplatformed. So we don't want anyone to hold contrary opinions. We don't want anyone to be able to articulate their own thoughts, express their own thoughts. We believe that whatever we say is correct, should be the correct. But we've forgotten that we are a people with diverse thoughts, with diverse way of thinking, and if we all reason the same way, then that will be a major problem. Then I also talk about another reason as well is woke culture. So everyone is acting woke, everybody is acting fly, we are acting like we know what's trending, what's reigning. So we do not, everyone is just following the bandwagon. So that's part of the reasons why cancel culture is trending. Then a few pointers on the dangers of cancel culture. So one of the dangers of cancel culture is false posturing. So I don't want people to, because I know the truth, but I can't say the truth, because if I say what I believe is the truth or what is my own truth, people might come for me. So we are all grandstanding, we are posturing, we are living like in a cocoon. We don't want people to know that we do not agree with this. So we just tend to like follow the bandwagon. So as writers as well, as writers, we take extra care, we take extra duty to ensure that whatever we are writing about does appeal to, not like we are pandering to public opinion. Like as a writer, I believe that as a writer, I would express my thought, I would express my feelings in a sensitive manner that would appeal to all audiences. So I remember sometimes this year, a reviewer reviewed my collection of poems, Born in Lockdown. And she said, I enjoyed your collection of poems, Dead Cats Don't Meow, but I don't really like this one because the author had an opinion. And I'm like, you don't want me to have my own opinion? And I believe that every one of us here as well, we have an opinion, we have our beliefs, we have certain mindsets that, that is a part of our life. And I believe that we should always, follow our beliefs. It's okay for us to believe, to have belief systems, to have opinions, and to be able to express ourselves without thinking of whose ox might be God. Yeah, so I would drop that down there. Then also, dangers of cancel culture. So, for instance, I'm on the Twitter trend, people are trolling me, coming for me, deplatform him. Deplatform him is done something 15 years ago, 20 years ago. And the person you are trolling, the person you are coming for, you are trying to get at, it's an human being with emotions, and that could lead to a deteriorating mental health for that person that we are coming for. So that is part of the dangers of cancel culture. Then also, one of the dangers is lack of divergent views and healthy conversations. I think it's all right for us to be able to communicate with one another, engage in healthy conversations, but where everyone tends to think in a particular way, reason in a particular way, then I believe that it's a that's a major problem. So cancel culture is eating at the heart of society, and this is something that should interest all of us because it's stifling healthy conversations, it's stifling healthy thought processes, it's stifling people to be able to express themselves without being judged by strangers who sit down behind the computer or behind their phone screens, phone keypads, and trying to bring that person down. So as creators, I think, as writers, as creatives, it's okay to have these kinds of conversations, to to talk about these kind of situations, because as a writer, how can I distinguish my art from my person? Should my works suffer for my deemed offenses or my past mistakes? Do my works have the right to be erased based on what I have done in the past or what I've done 100 years ago? So I think these are the type of conversations that creators, creatives, and everyone out there needs to talk about and needs to have. Also, one part of the dangers is obliteration of art and creative voices. So where a creator is the platform, for instance, you might have all your works taken off your streaming platforms, for instance. So the art is being erased based on the court of public opinion, not really based on maybe it's going to a court of law. This case is not going to a court of law, but because everyone online is saying cancel him, deplatform him, and everyone says, oh, we are removing him from our brand, or it cannot represent us any longer. So which I believe is part of the dangers that cancel culture does to society. Also, mob culture means irrational behavior. It breeds irrational behavior and lack of brilliant thinkers as well. Because if I know the mob will be coming for me as a creator, then I will just write what I want them to see. I would only want to pander to what people online. So that's still like what I talked about, false posturing. People do not feel comfortable to express their opinions. People do not feel comfortable to talk about what's hurting them, what's in their mind, because they know that they can be judged. So also, when part of the dangers of cancel culture is that we hand over control of our lives, control of our thought patterns. We hand it over to strangers, to people out there. So that's part of the dangers of cancel culture, because if I know that if I put something out there, or I have an idea, okay, so let me just flash back to Africa, for instance. Growing up, most of our parents, we were for Christians, we were religious, we would go to church, we had certain beliefs, and most Christians back home in Africa, they had some beliefs that probably in the West, it could be a free world, it could be a free reign where people, because the African culture is evolving, the African culture is kind of growing. So some things that in the West people find acceptable, back home in Africa, people would be judged for acting in a particular manner. So in my own opinion, we tend to hand over control of our lives to other people when we cannot say what's on our mind freely, we cannot express based on the mob, based on people, the fear that if we express ourselves or what I've done 10 years ago or 20 years ago might affect my future, or it might affect the works that I've put out there, or I might be deplatformed for mistakes of the past. So I talked about a few questions to ponder. Are popular opinions the gateway to paradise? And the reason I ask this question is because if everyone is pandering to popular opinion, so is there something that makes it, seem like the most is there something that makes it appealing to everyone to tend to follow the bandwagon? Is there something about not being able to express yourself differently? So I think that's a question that we all need to think about. I also said, is art now a thing to be erased when the creator crosses the limit? Do we wipe out the art? Do we wipe out the works based on the fact that in the court of public opinion we believe that a creator, a writer, a public figure or has overstepped the limit? And what is this limit? How do we judge what? So because someone might say, oh, he has crossed the limit, but for someone else that is not yet the limit. So do we leave it to the court of public opinion to determine what is the limit, or we leave it to the justice system to be able to say, oh, this person has crossed the mark and this is the offense? And so then I also, part of the question, are we gradually shedding the toga of humanity and the values that hold us together? When we go online and we troll people, we steal other voices, we don't want to hear them out. Are we losing our humanity, where we talk about empathy, where we talk about allowing justice to take its full course, rather than us being judgmental and trying to erase people, to wipe them out based on our own opinions or our moral high ground? Then I also, among the questions, is this the birth of a voiceless generation? Because if I know that for expressing my opinion in a particular way, people might come for me, I might be judged, then I would rather just keep quiet, which still boils down to false posturing, rather than express my opinion. And people are coming for me or trolling me, or someone is digging up my old tweets or what I said 100 years ago, then I know that I will just stay in my place and I would rather not tweet or rather not express myself. And when we see people are afraid to talk because they will be judged. People are afraid to express their opinions because people might come for them. That means we are comfortable with just having people who would think in a particular way, people who would reason in a particular kind of way, which does a lot of harm to society as well. Then I think the final question I asked is, are mistakes still part of our everyday life? Are we allowed to make mistakes? Is it okay to fall and we pick someone up and let them rise again? Are we allowed to make mistakes? Because mistakes form part of our everyday life, our everyday living, and without mistakes, there can be no correction. There can be no opportunity to behave better. We won't show people in society that making a mistake is not the end of the world. So if you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. So just to wrap things up for this session, I just talked about the way forward. So I believe that the way forward, we should promote a culture of accountability. There should be accountability culture should be promoted, should be entrenched in society. We should be accountable. So it's okay for people to fall, to make mistakes, but we should do all within our power to hold them accountable, hold people accountable for their error of judgment, for their mistakes, but without canceling them, without wiping them off, without erasing them. So I believe it's quite important that we should be able to distinguish between canceling people and holding them accountable. If someone has made a mistake, there should be a consequence for that action. which is also a subset of accountability culture. There should be a consequence culture, but that consequence culture should not be dished out in the court of public opinion. So it should be a case of someone has done something wrong, let there be a process, rather than people just pandering, coming for them, attacking their livelihoods, because they believe that they are on a moral high ground where they can be judgmental, where they can bring other people down. I also talked about the fact that we need to have honest conversations. Let's encourage people to think, have healthy, honest conversations, allow people to express divergent views, because that is the only way society can be better, when we allow people to, where there's difference of thought, difference of opinion, and as creators, this would go a long way to help us as well. Then, to close this part, I say, see the humanity in humans. Let's express more humanity. Let's be human. That human touch, rather than something has gone wrong. We are crying, oh, the platform, or someone has expressed a contrary opinion to what we believe. We believe that because this opinion does not align with our own views, then they ought to be the platform. So I don't, as a creator, communicating my ideas, communicating my mind is something I hold, that is treasured. I treasure a lot. So I believe that creators, people in general, should be given the opportunity to express themselves without being mobbed, without being judged, or without being deplatformed. People like J.K. Rowling, Kanye West, Chimamanda, people, the cry is there that, deplatform them, cancel them. But I believe that as creators, stifling our livelihoods, stifling our voices because of an opinion, because of a thought process, because we do not want to follow the bandwagon or the way that everyone tends to pander to, should not take away our life, our income, our livelihood. So I think, thank you so much for listening to that session. Thank you so much. So that's the end of that particular session. Thank you.